For tonight's Friday Night Cowboy Church message, we're going to go right back to where we were at the beginning of this series. We needed it then, and I think we need it even more now, just to be reminded of this. Things have gotten harder for most of us, and frustration, anger is high, and there's so much out there that the tensions just keep building and building. And so, like I said, we're going to go back to the beginning, and I'm going to go to a verse from John. We're going to look at First Peter and something from Matthew. So this is from John chapter 15. Jesus knows that he's going to die on the cross, and he's starting to prepare his disciples. He's giving them some important messages. The first part of this we talked about a couple weeks ago with the example of branches being pruned away and producing fruit, and then further into it is where we get to this verse. Again, chapter 15, verse 12 is, "My command is this: love each other as I've loved you. My command is this: love each other as I've loved you." Then I'll go on further. So 13 then is, "Greater love has no one than this, that he lay down his life for his friends." That's a verse that a lot of bullfighters really like, but we don't understand the full context of this. Jesus knows he's going to lay down his life for these men, and this is what he's telling them in the context that he's going to do this. That's how much he loves them, is that he's going to give his life for them and us. So then verse 15 is, "You are my friends if you do what I command." So again, the word command. "You are my friends if you do what I command. I no longer call you servants, because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I have called you friends, for everything that I have learned from my Father I have made known to you." Verse 16, "You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you to go and bear fruit, fruit that will last. Then the Father will give you whatever you ask in my name. This is my command, love each other." So again, this is my command, love each other. 3 times Jesus is referring to that as a command, that we're supposed to love one another. And so I want us to, I mentioned in some of the posts on social media this week, I switched from in this together to every man for himself, because we are kind of in survival mode, and our attitudes seem to be changing and shifting. And we're not thinking about others as much as Jesus would be commanding us to do, which is to love each other. And we've talked about this in the first message, a reminder of what love is. Love, we're not talking about the emotion. We're not talking about the warm, fuzzy, or romantic feelings, or even the brotherly love that we can have for one another. We're talking about a command to love each other in action, and that's the kind of love we're showing here, is how we treat each other, how we respond to each other. That is showing love. And so that's a command from Jesus, not just a request, but a command. We're going to look to First Peter, if I can get us back to those pages, is First Peter, and this is going to be chapter 1, is verses 14 to 15. "As obedient children, do not conform to the evil desires you had when you lived in ignorance. But just as he who called you is holy, so be holy in all you do." And then further in 16 is, "For it was written, be holy, because I am holy." So again, as obedient children, do not conform to the evil desires you had when you lived in ignorance. But just as he who called you is holy, so be holy in all you do. For it is written, be holy, because I am holy. And so we're being told that we need to set aside our selfish needs. We need to set aside the evil desires we have. And again, that's what I mean by selfishness. And we need to conform to what Jesus is telling us. So again, it's a very strong direction for us to be holy. So where Jesus is commanding us to love one another, we're also being reminded in First Peter that we need to be holy, which is like be like Christ. We need to be like him. People need to be able to see Christ in us. And that way we can turn away from the evil side of things and pursue that which is good, which is what Jesus wants for us. So we're being instructed very firmly that our actions, we're called to holiness. We're told to walk away from our sin and show ourselves to be holy people like Christ. The understanding is that he was perfect. We, when we're saved, so again, going very quickly through the gospel, the understanding that sin separates us from God and sin has to be punished. So Jesus came to take that punishment for us. And so that if we believe in him, that he was the Son of God, that he died on the cross for us and rose again and took that punishment meant for our sins, that if we repent, if we truly repent, want to be forgiven and ask to be forgiven, we can be saved through that sacrifice Jesus made on that cross for us. Then we can be made right. We've talked about this before. Then the process of sanctification begins, which is the process of becoming more like Christ. which is becoming more and more holy. So we know that we're going to mess this up sometimes, and the understanding is we don't do these good things. We don't love each other. We don't carry out those loving actions for one another to earn anything. Jesus did everything for us. It's already done. There's nothing more we can earn other than to repent and seek that forgiveness. And then we have been assured that we're right with God and that we'll have a perfect life in eternity in heaven. So that is what fuels us to do good, not to earn anything, but because of what Jesus did, laying that his life down for us, because he did that for us, then we should be developing that desire to be more holy and to follow his command to love one another. We're going to look at Matthew 5, 14 to 16. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven. So what Jesus is telling us here in Matthew is the importance of letting people see the good in us, him in us, the changes that he's making in us. We can be a light in darkness, and this is a dark time for us. The reality of it is this is a very dark time for many of us, and it's been getting harder, and in the foreseeable future for some of us it's going to continue to get harder. So we're being commanded through Jesus to love one another, and we're being instructed to be a light, to let people see him in us so that others then can also want that, rather than our responses being ugliness and anger. And it's understandable that we feel that way, but rather than presenting that ugliness, we present a light instead that can draw others to us and want to know who Jesus is. And then in that sense, then your good deeds, the good that we do because we're saved, the good deeds then bring praise to our Father in heaven. Or other versions of the Bible talk about, use the phrase glory. And that's what we need to do is glorify God. So without hitting us with 100 more verses, we understand then that the things that we do are meant to bring glory to him. This is one reference to it, but there's numerous references throughout Scripture of the need to be able to glorify God in our actions, the things that we do. So loving one another and doing good deeds, those are things that glorify and honor God, and then are ways then that others can come to know Jesus through us when we then share the gospel with them. So I want us just to focus on that and really just press in that more than anything right now, guys. Think before we speak. Think before we do something. Does this glorify God? Do we honor God in what we're doing? Is my actions, are my words, are those things going to bring honor and glory to him? Are they going to shine a light? Or are they just going to magnify the darkness that's around us? That's up to you guys. You have the ability to do this. We're commanded to do this. And so I want us to take that seriously and just consider very, very hard before we speak, before we act. Does this honor God? Love you guys, and we'll see you somewhere sooner or later.